everybody, and welcome back to the Sports and Loss podcast. I am Coach Cody Bauza.
And I am Coach Pierre.
Today, we will be recapping the devastating loss of the Carolina Panthers to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a win and get in situation for the Panthers. Unfortunately, couldn't get it done. Ended up dropping the game 16-14. Alan, I know there's a lot of things you probably want to get to, so I'm just going to let you take the wheel on this one.
Thank you. Okay, let me start off by saying this. I've had some time to cool down, so this is all constructive criticism. Again, as a coach, I just don't like tearing players down. I like to address issues that I've seen, and then hopefully they can learn and grow from it. So I'm going to start off with this. Players, coaches, and the penalties are the penalties. So with the players, first score, Christian Rosebaum's misread the tight end. So typically when you're having trips or trio or any 3-by-1 formation, your middle backer will look at the number 2 to number 3 receiver that when you're playing zone. When you're playing man, obviously he's locked up to more than times than not the number 3 receiver, but they're running zone, so he should have looked to 2 to 3 and sent his eyes and his body in the pathway so that K-Dot doesn't give up that score. He sees the back flare. I don't know if there was a miscommunication on the back end, but he goes chase, then ends up in no man's land and gives Baker Mayfield an easy touchdown. And that's on the first drive of the game. And I'm going, okay, all right, that's an easy fix. And he fixed it. To his credit, he did fix it. When that interception happened, it's almost the exact same scenario. Baker thought he could throw it up the seam again, and Rosebaum immediately picks it off, runs it for about a 20-yard gain, and that leads to the Panthers' only touchdown. Not only touchdown, their first touchdown. And I'm going, okay, now we're going. Now we're rolling. Other than that, there was a couple critical third downs, and not on the offense because they didn't get any third downs at all, which I'm going to address that later, but on defense. So the defense overall played well, but the big thing was they continuously gave Baker Mayfield extended time in the pocket and his ability to make a play. And so that hurt the Panthers on the back end. And I shouldn't be surprised because the Panthers have the second worst defense in the NFL. And playoff football, you have to be able to get off the field on third down. Ask any good team. All your good teams in the league, they are good on third downs. And when you provide any player extended time in the pocket, especially a player like Baker Mayfield, who can make virtually every throw, he's going to hurt you. And that was something that Baker, to his credit, did a much better job. Yes, he threw the interception to Rosebaum earlier, but after that, he pretty much played conservatively, which on certain things you think it may hurt you, but for this game it didn't, because he had the understanding of, hey, if we don't turn the ball over, we will win this game. And as long he did not turn the ball over after that moment, and they won the game. And it doesn't matter from high school, college, and especially in the NFL, if you're bad on third down, you're not going to win the game. And there are multiple plays where the defensive line, my unit that I coach, those guys had clear opportunities to make the play and they just didn't, which is truly unfortunate. It is so frustrating, especially when you're getting there. And Baker's a good athlete. So it's part Baker Mayfield making a play, but also part the defenders being in the wrong position or being way too high to tackle a mobile quarterback. The biggest blunder from a player was the Rico Dow / Bryce Young fumble. It looked like they were running a flea flicker and there was some miscommunication or some poor timing to where Dow, if he just falls, it's a better situation for the Panthers than what he did by tossing it back to Bryce Young. And on Bryce's fault is You see the ball, just fall for it. Have the understanding of what's going on. It was second down. If the Panthers fall on it, that's fine. You can try to get some yards back on third down and hopefully get in your position to kick a field goal. And that field goal, if they're able to kick it, that wins them the game because the final score was 14-16. If they kick the field goal and then they're able to score again, score with Jalen Coker. Now it's 17-16. Panthers are wearing the t-shirts down in Tampa Bay. Instead, now I'm having to be a Falcons fan tomorrow, which is completely frustrating. I have and the the I hate more than anything relying on other people to handle jobs when you can do it yourself. And this team, as I said, weeks upon weeks, they are a young team, but it is so inconsistent that guys who step up, it's always one or two moments, and then those same guys will have a fumble or a miscue. And I'm so frustrated by that. And that's part the youth, but also that's coaching. And here's why I address the coaching. Couple things. What I'm gonna go back to the flea flicker. Typically, that play makes complete sense when you are stalling on offense and you need a jump. Let's say if they're somewhere between the 20 and the 40, that makes sense. They had been stopping them, and if that was the drive opener, I would have been fully on board. That makes complete sense. But the Panthers were using fundamental football, running good routes. Bryce Young was throwing on time, and then you decide to run a flea flicker around the 35. That makes no sense. Especially, and I rewatched it, there was no receiver going deep. Typically, a flea flicker is, hey, we'll give it to the back. He tosses it back. Both the safeties and the corner bite, and you have an easy touchdown over the top. But no receiver was past 7 yards. So what was that play call? And that's the biggest frustration I have with Dave Canal sometimes, where as an offensive guy, how are you not more creative with what you do? Like before the trick play, there was no creativity in the running game. I will always look at guys like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay to where they are able to add a motion, a counter, something to put stress and pressure on the defense. So many times this game, you have a veteran defense that is really good against the run, but you do nothing to really to really get them thinking, especially when they have rookie corners. At least if you feel like the box guys are gonna be solid, it's for the rookie corners. If you get a guy off position, now you can run a play fake off of that. And when they finally did, they sent a motion out with Jimmy Horn. It was a big play for McMillan, but that only happened one time. Um, I I want to see if they make the playoffs, and I'm gonna speak life and positivity for this episode. If they make the playoffs, I need to see Dave Canales create some more wrinkles in the run game, in the pass game. I am so tired of no motion, no counter, no misdirection, nothing. And it doesn't need to be an end around with the receiver. It can just be we fake this way, but then we'll have a backside counter the other way. Hey, that makes your linebackers bite, and now you can give backs like Rico Dow and Chuba Hubbard easier lane. Let them make a play once in a while because it was very difficult for them to run the football, and I knew it would be. Tampa Bay is top 10 in run defense. They're really bad in pass, which I immediately went, why were there not more deep shots? You have McMillan, but everything is a deep post and never just a deep a go route, a deep out. I'd even take a hitch and go or a sluggo where you fake the slant and then he immediately goes upfield just to put more pressure on those rookie corners. If they do not make the playoffs, oh, hold on, I just remembered. In the last thing, whenever the weird ref situation, it was they throw the backward pass, Rico Dow catches it, but they blow the ball dead. All right. I'll get to that in a bit. Why is Dave Canales not chewing people's behinds about that? It went from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 16. And I'm gonna get to the refs in a bit, but Dave, This is for the season. For the season. Get some bass in your voice and address the line judge or the umpire. Like, it's for the season and we're just off calling plays. I get he's a play caller, and that's the biggest reason why sometimes having your head coach as the play caller isn't a good thing, because you have Bryce Young trying to talk to a line judge, and it's a ref isn't going to negotiate with a player, especially a player like Bryce Young. No offense to Bryce, but he's not Tom Brady. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not that kind of quarterback to where all guys have to just respect what he says. The ref clearly blew him off, and he even agreed, but there's nothing they can do because your head coach isn't fighting for you. Leadership in that key moment is, hey, so and so, go ahead and call the plays. I'm gonna go ahead and chew this ref out real quick. Because even if he doesn't change, and he's more than likely not going to change it, but at least you have that ref see, and now you're able to get more likely a makeup call. And if you don't think makeup calls are a real thing, they are. Ask any ref, ask any coach, ask any player. They have all seen it to where, ooh, bad call. I'm expecting something. Oh, conveniently, they finally called the holding call after, we haven't had a holding call all game long. Very, very interesting. And then lastly, the refs. As a coach in high school who has been egregiously, and I mean egregiously, like, this is not me being biased. I've talked to multiple refs who I have about 4 games in my head where I would go, a ref made a bad call that cost us the game. I hate blaming refs. I really do. I really do. But because at some point you just recognize they're human. But every good ref will always tell you, hey, coach, I'm only going to call the things that I see. If I don't see it, I'm not going to call it. You can live with that. You can live with that. What you cannot live with is a ref calling things that they think happened. And here's what I mean. McMillan, he's within 5, he's under 5 yards. He's hand fighting with the corner. He does an extension because, again, they've been hand fighting, and he finally gets open for a big play. The ref assumes because his hand is extended that it's offensive pass interference. Number one, the ball's not in the air, so he can hand fight all he wants. And number 2, it's within 5 yards. He can essentially do whatever he needs to do to get open. And what made it even worse was the ref guy is going, well, I kind of see it, but I'm like going, he's wrong. I get it. You're a ref. You got to protect your guys, but he's wrong. I hate when they do that. It's pretty simple. He can fight, he can play with them, and then and again, there's no push off. They're just trying to he's just trying to get off the line of scrimmage because he's playing physical through. And I'm not even mad at the corner. I'm upset at the ref for not letting the guys play. McMillan makes a great catch, but it doesn't matter because, it looked like it's offensive pass interference. The other one that I was confused by was the defensive pass interference over the trip feet. The ref, for a fact, again, defensive pass interference is, hey, I shove you, or I do something clear and obvious to impede you from getting the pass. Nick Scott never extended on Kate Otten. It's clearly trip feet. And you look at it and you go, that's a weird, and his hands aren't doing this. I get if Nick Scott's hands were pushing off, but he's running and he trips up. Defensive pass interference. You did not see a pass interference. You assumed something happened and then threw the flag. That, in those two alone flipped the field position, and immediately, as soon as the Panthers felt it, and you could see on the sidelines, especially with those guys, they just felt like, hey, the calls are coming against us. It's just not our day. It is just not our day. And it's so frustrating because I have no problem losing to Tampa Bay. If it happens, it happens if they're the better team. But there are some moments from players that put us in bad positions. There was some Dave Canales, and he even admitted there's been a couple things where he should either saw better or did better on the few couple drives. But when the refs get into it, you just feel like, well, there's nothing I can do. I can't play a team and the ref. The Panthers cannot play the Bucks, and they can't play the refs at the same time. You have to pick one, and you have to play the Bucks. So I hate when refs get into that and immediately start calling things that they do not see but assume they saw. The defense, yeah, they give us 16 points, but they were out in the field for a long time. They forced Baker Mayfield with a sack. They forced him with a couple sacks, forced an interception. They did really, really well. Like Evero's defense, I'm really impressed with because yeah, they give up quite a few yards, but they are able to always make a stand if they need to. And they're just young defense. We've talked about it with your coach, Cody. I'm not a huge fan of our
Hmm.
linebacker play. I'm just not. I cannot wait for us to get some replacements. Because I think that I don't think I know that's the weakest part of our defense. The corner and secondaries. Again, the Mike Evans had two big catches. Abuka had a big catch, and McMillan had a big catch. Really, that's all you can ever ask for. No one went off. No one went over 100 yards. They were just, oh, they made a big play. All right, that's going to happen, especially with that many talented guys. And not to mention Chris Godwin and Kate Otten. Like you have five weapons on the field for the Bucks that can legitimately be a number one or number two for any other team in the league. And I'm proud of those guys in the secondary, especially a young front. So here's the reality. Moving forward, I'm a Falcons fan for tomorrow. Go Dirty Birds. If they don't get in the playoffs, this is just going to be a hard game to swallow in the offseason because you had the opportunities to win. You set yourself up. I really believe if Bryce Young was able to get the ball back, they're finding a way to score because the momentum was there. It just sucks that they blew this opportunity. And again, like I said earlier, I hate the fact that we have to rely on the Falcons to win because the Saints are hobbled, but they're the Saints, and they it'll be horrible. It'll be a bad pill to swallow to have the Saints beat us, beat essentially get us out of the playoffs three times, and we only played them twice. That's a hard pill to swallow. So I didn't yell, I didn't scream, I just kind of vented, did some coach talk, did some constructive criticism. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
That's
Thanks for
like you
letting me
said,
vent.
not a
Ugh,
problem. With like you said, the main factor on the offense was, I mean, granted Baker, he didn't run wild, but it just seemed like Panthers defense couldn't bring him. There was a couple sacks in there,
right.
but it seemed like he was pulling, like the magician, the Houdini stuff,
Oh yeah.
like where he could have went down a few times, just never did. But I mean, Otten was the big playmaker today. He had
Mhm.
7 receptions, 94 yards, and the touchdown on 9 targets. But other than that, Evans had 2 receptions. Ibuka had 1 for 8 yards.
Mhm.
Godwin had 1 for 8 yards. So you held the big playmakers in check. So that's
Mhm.
something that the defense can hang their hat on. Going back to like the refs letting them play situation, I thought it was going to be tighter called with early in the game, and I don't remember the Panthers secondary guy who got
Oh,
called for, but the
not
taunting
Mike Scott.
penalty there.
My goodness. Jackson, Mike Jackson. He got in Baker's face. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
And,
like
and,
you
and that
see
was another
that.
one where I was going, okay, why? Why are we doing that? Why? I
Yeah,
don't like guys. Again, I get. I get guys jawing, I get the emotions going, but you've got to be smarter than that because not only is that hurting your team, but your pocketbook's gonna get hurt. Because any personal foul penalty like that, it's a fine from the
yeah,
NFL, guaranteed. So his check is getting deducted. Promise you
yeah.
that.
But it's like you see that, like, yeah, it was taunting. It wasn't egregious,
Hmm.
but it was taunting. But then you fast forward to the second half, and there's the penalty where your tight end gets his helmet ripped off.
No call, none.
And like Dan Orlovsky said on the broadcast, he's like, your helmet doesn't fly off like that just because like it gets ripped
Right.
off right in front of. I think it was the line judge was sitting
Yeah,
right
the
there,
line judge is
and
right there. Yes.
and then
It
nothing happened. And then the very next play was the offensive pass interference on McMillan. It's
on a
like,
ticky
what's
tack call,
happening?
like I said,
Yeah,
yes. Yes. I again, I don't like blaming refs, but you gotta if you're gonna let guys play, then let them play. If you're gonna call stuff, then call stuff, especially blatant things like that.
Yeah.
I what will always frustrate me is refs, but then when you come and talk to them, they always go, "Well, sorry, we missed it." Then stop missing it. Then get your eyes open. I really want to know what some of those refs were thinking. What did they saw? Like I want almost the NBA kind of how they do the 2 minute report.
Yeah.
I get this game didn't just come down to refs, but the refs' inability to call thing. I'm sorry, their um their gosh, what's it called? They're blind. Like sometimes they saw this, and sometimes they saw this, but sometimes they didn't see this. And you're going,
Mhm.
then what are you looking at for things that are so
Yeah.
blatant and clearly obvious? And at some point, you would think New York is going, hey, how what's going on here? Because you
Yeah.
clearly missed this, or you clearly missed that.
Yeah. And I also thought how they handled the fumble on the kickoff return, I thought that was weird
Uh huh.
too, because to me, in all indication, it seemed like Carolina came up with the ball
Uh huh.
and nothing happened. Nobody signaled, and all of a sudden, you see the Carolina, the guy from the kick team, came up and held the ball up, but they're like, oh no, there was a block in the back, but it's Tampa Bay's ball. So it's like,
Right.
all right. I mean, granted, you don't know what's happening. I mean, that
Hmm.
was a 12 man scrum
Yeah.
there to get to the ball. And so, yeah. And like you said, the refs, how they handle things, like just from my experience with like baseball umpires, basketball officials, like if they come up to you first without you saying anything, it's like, hey, coach, my bad, I missed it. It's like, all right, like you said, you can live
You can
with
live with
that.
it. You can live with it.
That's fine. But them not saying anything, just kind of shrugging it off, that's another thing. That's almost like they're taking the game into their hands. And nope, nobody paid the $100 plus a ticket to come see you guys
Right.
kind of take control of the game. Um, Now the flea flicker thing. Do you think that was a designed flea flicker?
I I need to see what Canal said, but I think it was the no, I don't think it was designed. I think there was some miscommunication. I think Dow
Yeah,
thought it was a flea flicker because I don't think Dow was trying to make a play there because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you toss it back to a quarterback that's not ready? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that'd be the ultimate brain fart. Um, but let me see. Do you know if he said anything about it?
No, because just from my perspective, just watching the game, especially like when they, the instant replay, the slow mo,
Oh,
it seemed like he tried to flip it. He flipped it late, obviously,
yeah,
and it almost seemed like it was a panic kind of move. Like let's try to make something here, make something out of nothing, almost.
hmm.
And I put myself in your shoes there for a little bit and watching Bryce Young stand there. I wonder if Cam Newton was somewhere punching air,
Oh,
seeing,
that was literally my
seeing,
brain. And my brother texted me was like,
seeing,
"Is this Cam Newton all over again?" And I'm going,
yeah,
"It
because that's
might
what it
be."
looked like to me.
All right, so I found it. So yeah, no, it was a flea flicker. So according, Canales obviously defended the decision. He said it was an aggressive call. We knew they were going to play us in single high right there, and we just Rico slipped in the exchange, and we took a shot right there. I like the call. Canales told reporters, I like the opportunity that it presented us right there in the red zone to take advantage of it, and we didn't get that done. And and again, a flea flicker to me makes a lot more sense on the other side of the field to jumpstart your offense versus closer to the red zone to where you don't have a lot of room for error. And if you know you're going one high, then throw it up to McMillan or Coker.
Mm-hmm.
You have a 6'3" receiver and you have a 6'5" receiver. Give those guys an opportunity to go make a play. If not, let Leggett run up the seam, kind of like what Otten did earlier, and force the safety to pick a decision.
Yeah,
So I get what he's saying there, but there's about four different things I would have done versus single high, and of running a flea flicker was not one of them, especially against rookie corners. Like,
yeah.
ah, ah.
And like you said, what's weird is that there was nobody real. Granted, you are on the short side of the field
Mhm.
too, but there was still nobody really down the field at
No,
all to throw it to, which is what you kind of draw up a play like it's a shot play
yeah,
essentially, and you don't have anybody downfield to do anything with it. And I think, yeah, it was Dan Orlovsky on the broadcast all night saying like Canales and Young are gonna have to take a shot sometime. And
hmm,
he just kept saying that he's like, when are they gonna take a shot? When are they gonna take a shot? Because if you're just essentially not taking the shot and trying to run the ball, you're gonna get stuffed.
yeah,
It's the trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And it just doesn't happen.
And they took a shot with McMillan on the far right side, and that's what
Hmm.
got them to score that second touchdown with Coker. So they
Yeah.
eventually did, but I um I've told you, and I've told and many times in the articles I've written, the Carolina Panthers fundamentally are a running football team, but whose strength is they can take deep shots with their receivers. Granted, against this game, Bryce Young did a much better job of throwing out routes. They still were a little slow, and Orlovsky mentioned that as well, where that ball and this is where I view Bryce Young as a bridge quarterback, to where he has clear limitations. He's not able to make every throw. Even I'm not even a huge fan of Baker, but the one thing about Baker is his arm is stronger than what you think it is. Like he
Yeah.
can sling the ball. That's not Bryce. So, but back to his throws, multiple times Bryce does throw a pretty good deep ball. He throws a pretty good deep ball. It's not a cannon, but it's not a, you know what I mean, it's not a duck either. But those
Yeah.
out routes were what was hurting him, and that's how he got that interception. And um going back to the deep shots, I felt like Bryce did a much better job of throwing on time, which is his strength. Being able to throw on time, throw in rhythm, and take the deep shot when it's presented. The one to Coker for the touchdown, that was great. That was great by him. Threw it high,
Hmm.
gave his guy an opportunity to make it. If he doesn't make it, no one else can make him can make it. And that was on time in rhythm, which is his strength.
Yeah. Throw it face mask and above where only your guy can go up there
Bingo.
and get
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And just kind of going back to the lack of third down success. I don't remember who said it. It was something that's like Carolina is a talented team, but it was Orlovsky who said it too. I really do enjoy Dan Orlovsky's analytics and just analysis
Oh,
on things. He's granted he never had the successful career as a backup everywhere,
right.
but the dude knows what he's talking about.
Both he
But
and
he's like,
Lewis Riddick did a good job today. I was really
yeah,
impressed. Really, really
he
impressed.
he's like the Panthers are a talented team, but they're not at that talent level yet where they're going to be able to pick up these, second and 13s,
Mhm.
third and 12s. They just don't have that kind of talent
Correct.
just yet. So, and with the running game not being exactly what they probably had what zero rushing yards through probably 1.5 quarter,
Yeah. And they tried running
something
the
of that
football.
nature.
The Bucks
Yeah,
just kept stuffing them.
yeah. It was just kind of strange that you didn't see any kind of offensive creativity from Canales or anything to try to get something going. And when they did finally do that, it was, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter where it's
Mhm.
too little too late. Like on the shot play to McMillan, it's like, yeah, you finally did it, but you had to. You had no other choice
None.
but to take the shot. And it's like, oh, that worked. And you kind of think to yourself, well, heck, why wasn't I doing that the whole game? If
Right.
like you said, with rookie corners out
Mhm.
there. So
And you ever in McMillan, he got over 1,000 yards, so he played really well. I just wrote an article about Leggett, and he had a good catch off the sideline. He had about he had two good catches, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Coker's clearly the number two receiver on this offense.
mhm.
They're going to invest in some tight ends. They're going to give Leggett another opportunity. They're going to have to. They spent a first round on him, and Bryce Young, um, they're going to pick up the extension. Obviously, they'd be foolish not to. I just don't want them to pay him big money or long term money unless he proves otherwise. I just think the
Mhm.
smart play right now is try to keep his number under 30 million and just hope for the best. That hey, we're not taking it personal, but no offense, but we're not trying to be the Dolphins where we're having to get rid of Tua Tagovailoa. And again, that's not even the concussion issue. That's just your ceiling issue. Um, you're not Drew Brees. You're not that guy. No offense.
Yeah.
And I
And
just
I think Leggett, like you said, Leggett had a good game. The one thing I think you could nitpick was the first drive where it wasn't a drop pass and it really wasn't a catchable ball either. But you almost kind of want him to run like, a harder slant and just a little bit earlier. Because if he does
yeah
that, breaks that in just a little bit, he comes up with that ball and what it was I guess it wasn't 3 and out to start the
no
start the game for
they
them
had gotten
because
the
they got the
first.
they got the
Yep.
they got the penalty to get him the first down and all of that. But like you said, he right now he's probably sitting comfortably at the 3
Mhm.
wide receiver.
Be in when I did my article talking about him, I said those traits were so tempting at that spot that you almost felt like you had to take him there. And because of those traits, they've used him as kick returner, which makes sense. He's a big body and fast. So okay, but something? And goes back to the creativity. Why have they not tried to put him in the backfield and do some like motion stuff with him? Because he's obviously smart enough to do it. Like he's not a dummy. So
Yeah.
just get the ball in his hand as fast as you can and just let him run and make a guy miss, and hopefully he can do that. Because I think your true threats on the outside are Coker and McMillan, and that can be used almost like a motion with Jimmy Horn. I like Jimmy Horn a lot. That late round dude, he's small. I didn't realize how small he was until like I started, really writing for the Panthers, and he's obviously fast. His hands, he made a catch on the sideline, and Panthers Twitter was going crazy because they were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Is he better than Leggett right now?" I didn't say
It
anything,
was
but I was like,
impressive.
You
Yeah.
may not be wrong."
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully the Falcons can pull it off, but if they don't and the Panthers go home, I want Canales as an offense guy, which is so puzzling to me. Every offensive guy I know has some creative bone in their body and loves to throw a couple wrinkles. Some guys a little bit more. Not everybody is going to be Andy Reid, where he's like, I just came up with 4 different new formations and da da da. But a lot of times
Yeah.
it's just, hey, I'm just going to try this thing and see how everybody reacts to it. Oh, they're not reacting perfectly. Now I can run this play that I really
Yeah.
wanted to. You know, Ugh. So, man, sucks. Blew an opportunity. Um, blew an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I know when you said that you hate relying on teams to when you could have handled your own
Yeah.
business, I understand completely. That's something I learned, I think, the hardest way possible you could this year with the whole, out of the last 7 weeks of the season, you don't get one,
One
to
dude.
quote Uncle Phil, dadgum win out of anybody.
Dude. That was a statistical anomaly. It had to be.
Yeah.
You would have thought you would have
Yeah.
got one.
Yeah.
All right, we got a little bit of time left. So Riley Leonard, he's starting. So what do you think? How do you think that's going to go down?
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. I feel like there's not going to be any in between. It's going to be, why did we sign Philip Rivers, or thank God we signed Philip Rivers to at least give us a
Ooh,
chance.
right, right, right.
Because I mean, yeah, he didn't play well in Jacksonville, or he did play well in Jacksonville. Sorry, but and maybe with just a little bit of preparation, he could have done better. Like he's, I've harped on the Colts offense being RPO, play action bootleg,
Mhm.
all that. Obviously, Riley Leonard's going to be more mobile than Philip Rivers.
Correct.
It's that's a fact. And maybe he could have ran that better, but I don't know. And I just hope it doesn't turn into a situation like what you're saying, like with Horn and Leggett, like, oh, maybe Horn's better than Leggett. I just hope it doesn't turn into a situation. It's like, well, heck, maybe Anthony or Riley Leonard's better than Anthony Richardson, and we just don't know.
Oh,
So I don't want to say I'm worried about it, but it's certainly a possibility. And you're going up against statistically the best defense in the league
yeah. There's only
tomorrow.
one.
So
Yeah.
he's got, I for my own personal vendetta, I hope we go in there and win and keep Houston from winning the division. But I don't see
I didn't
Jacksonville
realize they
dropping
still
the
had.
game.
Right, I don't see it either. I'm just shocked that they still had that opportunity with how hot Jacksonville's been playing. But I guess Houston's been slowly creeping up, like the Grim Reaper, and finally has the opportunity to pull it off.
Yeah, well, what it is, it's like, Jacksonville's won a lot of games in a row, but Houston has won one more game, and it started whenever they came back and beat Jacksonville
Mm,
in Houston. It started then, and I was really hoping the Texans' downfall when Dougie Mills was in
hmm
there for those 3 games, but he ends up beating the Bills. He beats the Jaguars. And I think he beat the Titans too, but heck, everybody beat the Titans this year, so that's not anything. I would have been fine with 1-2, heck, even 2-1.
Right.
But the backup quarterback had to go out there and go 3-0, and now I'm on the outside looking in. And that's why today, instead of baseball, I got my hockey sweatshirt on, because the Blues won today. So we're moving on to greener pastures, maybe here in the next few months. Heck, baseball starts in about a month and a half. Pitchers and catchers report, and I'm ready for it.
All right, man. Well, it's great talking with you. Let me tell the audience real quick. So, if you like the intro and the outro, Coach Cody, he set it up like Lily. He sent it to me today, and I was going. So it's
we
good
had
stuff. So what else?
some
What else
copyright
can he
laws.
do? You know what I'm saying? What else can he do?
Jack of all trades, master of none is what it can be. And if it wasn't for tedious copyright laws that we don't necessarily understand, it wouldn't have happened.
Some behind the scenes stuff. Somebody, the site I was using for our intro outro stuff, they keep copyright claiming us. So I'm just going, we'll come in with new ones. And Coach Cody said, "Hey, I can make some music." And I'm going, perfect. I can't.
I don't say if I can make music, I can click a few buttons on a computer.
Hey, that's more than I can. I would have been like, there's a 4 count, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Hey, thanks for letting me rant.
Yeah, and hopefully talk to you tomorrow after see what happens after the mess Sunday could bring us.
Absolutely. See you tomorrow.
All right. Stay up.